All right, so let's get this started. So here's what we're going to do today. Actually, I'm going to take a second here to clean up a bit. Let me go get my alcohol. I'm going to take a second here and kind of clean up a bit. Alright, so we got a couple customs to do today, and we'll see if we need to do anything else. I think I'm going to redo some of the ones I did yesterday because I wasn't entirely happy with the way they came out. So, yeah, it's, one of the costs of doing this is that sometimes things don't come out exactly right, and then you have to redo it. And so that means, well, it gets expensive after a while. And not that anybody cares, but that's part of what goes into the cost of these, is that sometimes we have to redo them. And that just means that, it's our cost of making these just keeps going up every time we have to redo it. So, okay. So we're going to be doing a couple of customs from orders that came in, and we're probably going to redo a couple of the doughs from yesterday. And I'm going to clean these out real quick. And we are on TikTok on that camera, and we're on Twitch, YouTube, and Periscope on the other camera. So, there's that. Because one of the first things we're going to do is a remake of a dough from yesterday. And if you're with me yesterday, you would have seen that I made a mistake and screwed up two of my molds without really getting much to show for it. I'm just going through right now and pulling out all of the cured silicone from these. And it's just, the only reason I do it this way is because it's so much easier to clean. I'm just going through right now, and so, yeah. All right. It's just, the only reason I do it this way is because it's I'll get one or two more cups, and then we'll be ready to roll. So, yeah. All right. Well, one of the things we're going to be doing is a persistent in Glacier, which actually should be really pretty. One thing we're going to be doing is the Glacier is really subtle. It's kind of it almost looks like, well, it looks like ice actually, or sometimes it kind of looks like ocean water, like with waves and foamy white caps and stuff like that. So. And by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I answer them as best I can as we're going along. So, yeah. Questions are A-OK. Questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I answer them as best I can as we're going along. So, yeah. Questions are A-OK. Kitty darlings, we are making silicone sculptures for adults. Kitty darlings, we are making silicone sculptures for adults. All right, just need to clean up my workspace a bit here, move these out of the way. And mostly, I'm going to just clean off. This is 99% alcohol. So just going through and sanitizing as much as I can. One thing is clean off. Silicone is kind of sensitive, and so it lends itself to being. Well, you kind of have to just keep your workspace clean, because if you don't, you end up with pure inhibition or something just not going right. And if you were here yesterday, you saw things go badly. Murphy's Law and all that. Okay, so the other thing is we're going to be doing custom. So this is going to be for order number 605. Yeah, we'll do this again. No, we won't. We won't. We're going to do order 617. All right, so this one is going to be a dough. I think it's this one. This one I want to use. Check the fold here. Let's check. All right, I think I'm gonna thin this out just a little bit more. I'm just using, again, 99% alcohol, just to try to, I think there's a little bit of residue left in there, and I want to get it out, because anything that's left in there is going to leave an impression in the final product. And now this one, because this is an A25 and it cures so fast, I'm going to do it a little bit differently than I normally do. Oh, there's a lot of... All right, that's going to need to dry for a bit. Let's take a look at this mold. This one looks pretty good, although it does still need to dry out. Well then, that changes the plan a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the retesting first. And that is this mold. That changes the plan a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the retesting first. And that is this mold. All right, so this is going to be for order, and the last three digits of the order number is 967. Number 967. And if you're wondering why I keep announcing this, it's mostly because, I let people know when I'm going to be pouring their order, and this way they can find their order as easily as possible. I let people know when I'm going to be pouring their Scar Knight Jig, yeah, that flopping sound. Yeah. Okay. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna get some mold release on here. Yeah. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to get some mold release on here. That back a little bit. All right, so this is going to be a glacier, which is blue, white, and clear. So I need my white. I need my blue. And then I don't need anything for the clear. This is the Versus. So let me do my calculations. All right, the other thing I need to make sure is I got my squishy molds ready. Today I'm going to be doing robots and fast food, hamburgers, pizzas, fries. Today I'm going to be doing robots. They're just little molds. You can see, just like that. I set them off to the side, and when I have any excess, I pour them into those molds. And actually, I'll talk about that in a little bit. So what we need is 200 grams, and we need total 200 grams of silicone. And I apologize, I'm going to have to step off camera because my scale is over there, and my cameras are pointing over here. So, I need a moment. But if you do have any questions, drop them in the chat. Scale is over there, and my cameras are pointing over here. Kitty Darlings asks, what is my job? This is my job. This is what I do. Drop them in the chat. What is my job? This is my job. This is what I do. Twin Mama asks, yeah, kind of. I mean, let me come back here in a second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, kind of. Okay, yes, I make silicone toys or sculptures for adults. Come back here in a second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I keep my table pretty shiny. It's clean and it's mostly, well, it's acrylic, so I can clean it real easy, real fast. There's nothing that's going to stick to it. If I get silicone on it, it just rolls right off. Okay, so we got part A and part B in the cup. I'm just mixing and mixing and mixing. And yes, it does look like I am whipping air into this, but that's okay, because we'll get rid of it in a minute. All right, so I need to section off. I do this a little bit differently than some folks, I think, because what I do is I will mix up all of my silicone in one batch, and then I'll take it over and I'll section it out into what I need for each of my three colors. So I need one batch. I'll take it over and I'll section it out into what I need for each of my three colors. So All right, so I have my 3 cups here. Now, one of the colors is clear, so I can just leave this one alone. One of the colors is white, so we'll take a white here, add it to this one. There we go. Mix that in. All right. And then our third color is this blue. Give it a shake. Get my white out of the way. Go. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah. It's a nice blue. I don't know if you can see that. And it's got just a little bit of translucency to it. So again, we're kind of going for that look of ice or the ocean. Make sure we're all mixed up here. Good. And we don't need anything in this one. Okay. So now you saw that when I first mixed it, it looked like I was really whipping air into it. If you look, you can see, you might be able to see depending on the camera angle, there's actually air bubbles in the silicone. So what we do, we drop it into the vacuum chamber. Make sure it's centered up. And turn on the vacuum. Now what it's doing is pulling out all of that air. And we'll take it up to almost a complete vacuum. So it would actually boil water. Almost. It would almost boil water. At 0. I say 0. At negative 29.9 something inches of mercury. Top 10 Talent says, I'm intrigued. Yeah, I mean, this is fun. Ashley on TikTok asks, how long does it take to solidify or cure, as we call it? It depends on the mix. It could be anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on what mix of silicone we're using. Oh, Star Knight, good question. Why are some of them in powder and why are some of them in liquid? Okay. I buy all of my pigments, well, almost all of them, in powdered form. And then there are certain colors, and blues, for whatever reason, are really bad about this. There are certain colors that tend to clump. And so what I do is I'll actually take some of that powdered pigment and mix it with part A or part B of the silicone, depending on which, well, anyway. I'll mix it with the silicone and use a blender, like a hand mixer, to really mix that powdered pigment into the silicone. And that way I don't end up with clumps. All right, we're almost ready here in a second. And again, this is for order number 967. If it's the last 3 digits of your order number, this one is yours. Well, when the cost of your materials is significant, mistakes are expensive. All right. All right, so we're all vacuumed out. And now you can see, well, you probably can't see it on camera, but there are absolutely no bubbles in this clear. So we know we've gotten all the air out of it. Now we're going to put our white on top of the clear. got all the air out. Now we're going to put the white on the clear. Get all that goodness in there. All right, there's one. And now we put the blue on top of the white. And that white just kind of gives us a little bit of definition between the clear and the blue. And that white just kind of gives us a little bit of definition between the clear and the blue. Go. All right. So, mess here a little bit. Okay. Thanks for in camera. So, everybody see everything? I mess here a little bit. Okay. All right. So, what we're going to do is just go straight down the middle. A nice thin line straight down the middle. The blue, then there's the white. We should see the clear coming through here in just a second. There's the clear coming in. And there we go. All right, so now I've got all this excess. I'm going to take it over here. Oh, I'll bring my squishy molds over here. Let's scooch that over to the side. And we're going to do take it over here. Some French fries, sliced pizza, a hamburger, maybe another piece of pizza. There we go. That's good. All right. So the other thing is I will include some of these squishies with the order. That way people can, have just something besides their toy to go along with what they ordered. Now, it's time to sign my artwork. What they ordered. Now, it's time to sign my artwork. Doo-doo. And that is a Versustan in Glacier using A10 silicone. So A10 is kind of our medium firmness. And that is a Versustan. Star Knight. Biggest sculpture we make is the Parabolica. It's about 300 grams total weight. This one was, the final product is about 150 grams. So it's actually about twice as big as this one, volume-wise. But, when I make this, this is 150 gram. I'm going to make about 200 grams of silicone so that I have enough to fill the mold, and then I have enough to make some squishies as well. When I make this, I'll level this out a little bit. I might have overfilled just slightly, but not too bad. And then we'll just let this sit for, this will probably take about an hour, hour 15 to cure. Oh, and here's one of my other tricks. I always keep my extra silicone from the cups. I always keep that with the mold. And that way, if there's ever a problem, I can trace back to a particular color that didn't cure correctly, or maybe my mix was wrong, or I used the wrong mold release, something like that. And that way I can just track back and see where my problem actually started. Whew. So what do you think? Interesting? Fun? I enjoy it. By the way, again, that was order number 967. the chat is answering the questions for me. What are we making? We are making silicone sculptures for adults. The chat is answering the questions for me. What are we making? We are making silicone sculptures for adults. All right. So what are we going to do next? That was that order. I want to do a remake of this one also. This is going to be a scrupula, which is this mold, in A10, and it's going to be a cotton candy, which is pink, yellow, and blue. This is going to be a scrupula, and this is for order number 268. Cotton candy, which is pink, yellow, and blue. This is for order number 268. Yeah, the clock app does get picky sometimes. So just have to keep it family friendly. You know, there's nothing going on here that is get picky sometimes. I mean, this is, to me, this is art. So, family friendly, you know, they're sculptures. They are made out of silicone. I mean, this is, to me, this is art. So, all right, so let's check the mold, make sure it looks good. All right, and I'm going to do a little bit of mold release in here. So now this is going to be pink, yellow. We're going to use that same blue, but we're going to use just a little bit of white in that blue to just soften that color a little bit. Oh, I need to grab some paper towels. Back. All right, so these are our colors, and you saw the blue, so I'll just hold up the pink and the yellow, but really nice colors. You know, each of the colors has its own personality, so to speak. Like I said, the blues tend to be clumpy. The yellows tend to be a little bit undersaturated, so we go a little bit heavier on the yellow pigment. And this pink, the particle size on it is just a little bit bigger than usual, so we go a little bit heavier on it so that we can get good saturation. But something like this, which is kind of a silvery gray, this we can go fairly light on because it's a super saturated color. Destiny asks, what are we making? We are making silicone sculptures for adults. Destiny asks, what are we making? We are making silicone All right. Sculptures. So this is going to be a scrupula, and we need 3 cups. Let's peel this one out real quick. I love doing these peels. It just peels out in one big piece. And it's squishy. I mean, it's just silicone. Peels. Just peels out in one big piece. All right. make sure my cup is all wiped out. Now, one of the things that will cause silicone to not cure is sulfur. Now, the reason I mention that is you might have noticed that I don't use soapy water or anything to wash these out. I might, if it's real bad, I might spray it out with alcohol. But the silicone peels away from this so cleanly that it really doesn't require much. But one of the things about soap, the thing that makes soap sudsy, that gives you the bubbles, are sulfates, which are made from sulfur. And so that can cause problems. So if there's any soap residue in there, which are made from sulfur, then it will cause the silicone not to cure. That can cause problems. All right, so this is going to be any soap residue in there. Order number. Yep. Order number 268. So if you're looking to see your order made, this one is yours. If your last 3 digits of your order is 268. Order number 268. Yeah. Let's take some questions real quick. How long does it take to cure? Anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours. How long have I been making these? I've been making silicone sculptures for about 3 to 4 years. But I've been working with silicone in various capacities for 10 to 15 years. Not all at once, different businesses, different jobs, different things like that. So, yeah. All right, so get the alcohol out of the way. Not all at once, different businesses, different jobs, different things like that. So, yeah. All right, get the alcohol out of the way. All right, so for this one, I'm going to need 1 big cup, 2 small cups, and then, again, I apologize, I got to step over there to get to my scale. All right, again, I apologize for that. Dead air is never fun, but all right. So we got part A, part B mixing in the cup. Gotta scrape it all the way around, scrape the bottom, all the crevices. Gotta scrape it all the way around, scrape the bottom, all the crevices. Am I working for myself now? yes. I have been self-employed for 8 years. Actually, almost 9 years now. For 8 years. Almost 9 years now. All right, so mixing. Again, just mixing the hell out of it. Just mixing the hell out. The silicone is thick, so it's it's not like mixing cake batter or anything. This stuff is really thick. Okay, so I need to segment this out or section it out into 3 colors. There's one. And two. All right. Straight back down here. And two. All right. Back down here. All right. So now this one, okay, we call this one cotton candy. But if you know your pride flags, now this is actually one of the pride flags. Do I have to work fast for it with it? Those are good questions. Thanks, Destiny. I've got about 10, maybe 15 minutes to go from when the part A and part B touch to getting it in the mold and done. So I do have to move fairly quickly. All right, so we're going to do yellow in the big cup. Again, we need a little extra here. These colors are just so yummy. Look at that yellow. It's just so yummy. I think you can see it, right? Yeah. I still haven't figured out where my cameras are. All right, so now we need pink. Go. There's that. Now we need just a little bit of white in here. And then we need our blue. There we go. And we just want to desaturate that blue slightly. So now you can see it's gone to more of a baby blue than this kind of intense blue. Now you can see it's gone to more of a baby. And the pink than this kind of intense blue. Really yummy colors. Okay. By the way, does anybody know what pride flag this matches? Really yummy colors. Okay. By the way, does anybody know what pride flag this matches? Star Nightshade is keeping up with the chat. Thank you. But yes, we are making silicone sculptures for adults. Keeping up with the chat. Thank you. But yes, we are making silicone sculptures for adults. Oops. Shoot. I made a mistake. I forgot one thing. There we go. I need, one of the things I want to do, I want to change the viscosity of the yellow just slightly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of silicone fluid to it. And that silicone fluid just reduces the viscosity a little bit because I want the yellow stripe in the middle to be there, but I don't want it to be huge. And if I don't add that silicone fluid, it just doesn't look right. I don't add that silicone fluid. Destiny got it. That is the flag. Destiny got it. That is the flag. Yeah, if you saw at the beginning, I was really mixing that silicone up, and in doing so, I whipped air into the silicone. And so by putting it into the vacuum chamber we pull all that air back out into the silicone. And when it cures, it's solid. It doesn't have any air bubbles in it. There's no little nooks and crannies for the wee beasties to grow inside. And silicone, by its nature, is, I don't want to get too scientific here, but it's hydrophobic, which means that water does not stick to silicone. Silicone does not attract water. Actually, it repels water. And most of your wee beasties, as we call them, your mold, your bacteria, things like that, those all require water to live. And so if you have a material that repels water, it's a really inhospitable environment for all those beasties. Little beasties. Calciferous dragon. Interesting question. Do I add a surfactant? No. I'm not trying to dragon. Interesting question. Do I add a surfactant? No. Break up the surface tension? But I guess in a way maybe. The mold release acts as a barrier between the silicone that is the mold and the silicone that we pour into it. Between the silicone that is the mold and the silicone that we pour into it. Alright. So we've vacuumed out all the air. We've got our yellow here. And the yellow is going to be our base. Now, we're going to take the pink. We're just going to pour it off to the side. Okay. Now we're going to turn it, and we're going to do the same thing with the blue on the other side. I apologize, my hand is probably in the way, but it's just what I got to do. I apologize, my hand is probably in the way, but it's just what I got to do. And just make sure to get all of it in there. Okay. Now then, I don't know if you can see it in the cup here. We got pink on one side, yellow, and then blue on the other side. What I want to do here is I want to pour straight down. And see, the yellow is just running. I'm sorry, the blue is just running away at the beginning there. So we're going to have blue at the tip, and then the yellow, and then the pink will come in. So we're going to have blue at the tip, and then the yellow, and then the pink will come in. Installation. Left wave. A little bit more in that mold. I'm going to fill it all the way up to the top. And we can go there. Okay. Now then, I may not have enough to do a squishy on this. I'm going to try. Now then, to sign my artwork. And by the way, what I mean by signing my artwork is that each of the employees here has their own way of doing what we call butt art. It's the butt end of it. Excuse me. And so each of us has our own way of doing it. And that way we can tell, who made it. And to a certain extent, you can also tell when they made it, because everybody's signature changes over time a little bit. So anyway, that is order number 268. Signature changes over time a little bit. This is a strupula in cotton candy, which is the pan flag, in an A10. This is a strupula in cotton candy, which is the pan flag, in an A10. Destiny asks, how many do I make in a day? I can do. Destiny asks, how many do I make in a day? I can do 8 to 12 a day pretty easily. I pretty much can only do about 4 or 5 in a row because I need to take a break. I need to relax because you're under the clock and you're under the gun the entire time that you're pouring, because you've only got a certain amount of time to get stuff into the mold. And because of that, it's kind of stressful. And so I have to take a break after a while. And I can do 2 or 3 sessions a day. So, if I do 4 per session, then I can do a dozen of them. But if I do a live session like this, I really only get 1 session done, just because, well, this, plus the cameras, plus the chat, is just, it's stressful. You want me to shaky the empty mold? Okay. You want me to shaky the empty mold? Okay. Let's check this one. Okay. All right, I like this mold better. I think the other one's going to need a little bit more cleaning. All right, I like this mold better. I think the other one's going to need a little bit more cleaning. I'm just looking to make sure that the entire surface is covered. Now, because I made a mistake with these molds yesterday, I had to scrub them out with alcohol, which means that I have removed all of the mold release that has been on the surface of the mold. It's kind of like a cast iron pan. You never want to scrub a cast iron pan. You want that seasoning to act as a non-stick surface. It's the same way with these molds, is that I don't want to clean all that mold release off if I don't have to. But because of the mistakes I made yesterday, I had to scrub these out. Really like that shaky, huh? All right, so we'll get these off to the side here. Now this one, I'm going to do a little bit differently, because this is going to be an A25. And my A25 silicone cures incredibly fast. So what I have to do is I have to change my method just a little bit so that I can maximize the amount of time that I have to vacuum and get it into the mold. So this is going to be a single color pour, and we're going to be doing hematite. Well, it's called hematite, but it is a kind of a grayish silver, almost pewter. I mean, it really looks like hematite if you have ever seen the hematite film. Okay. It really looks like hematite if you have ever seen the hematite film. Hey, Cody over on YouTube. Good to see you again. No rest for the wicked. Over on YouTube. Good to see you again. Hey, Cody. No rest for the wicked. I have a question for you. You want to join me on my live stream tonight? I have a question for you. You can talk about what it's like to be a neophyte silicone slinger. You can talk about what it's like to be a neophyte. Come on, you could do it. All right, so we're doing A25. And what do we need? All right, so we're doing A25. So we need 150 through 175. No, 150, 25 excess. All right, we need 85 grams each. 85 grams. All right. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I am happy to answer. I've been helping Cody with his projects. And so, yeah, I'm an open book. All right, so this one, like I said, it's an A25, so I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I've got my part A. Like I said, it's an A25, so it's going to here. Do it a little bit differently. Add my pigment. I might add my pigment and mix it in first. Here. Just going to incorporate it, make sure that there are no tones. And see how dark that is? Incorporate it, make sure that super saturated. Okay. Then I'm going to take my part B and add it to this. Let's see, questions. All right, how many platforms do I stream on? When I'm doing a live session like this, where I'm doing pours, I'll do it on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and Periscope. And I also do a Sunday AMA, Ask Me Anything, on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope at 7 o'clock on Sunday nights, Central Time. And those tend to be a little bit more topical, where we'll talk about the business, whereas the streams that I do during the day tend to be more port oriented. All right, so we got our mix going here. We're real mixed up. Get the stick scraped down, sides, bottom, everything. Okay, let's get this vacuumed out. Shannon Childs asks, this is on TikTok, do I make Shannon Childs asks, this is on TikTok, do I make I don't know a safe way of putting that, but do I make chest pieces? No, I do not. It's on my list of things to do. I have a list of projects that I want to do, and that's on there. But it's not something I do yet. List of projects that I want to do, and that's on there. But it's not something I do yet. Woo. Oh, by the way, I'm doing a different order. I should make that note. I'm doing a different order. This is going to be for order number 579. This is going to be for order number 579. All right, so we got our silicone in the vacuum chamber. Needs just another minute or so. All right, so we got, and this is a remake for order number 579. This is going to be the third time I've done this order. I made mistakes yesterday, as it happens sometimes. And by the way, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Don't be shy. If you have any questions, hey, Baskin B over on TikTok, are you on today? Hey, Baskin B over on TikTok, are you on? All right, so we got our vacuum done. All right, so we got our vacuum done. Oh, and earlier when somebody asked about how many can I do in a day, the other thing it depends on is how complicated the pour is. The other thing it depends on is how complicated the pour is. If it's a single color pour, I can do a bunch of those in a day. But if it's a complicated, 3-color pour, then that's a whole nother story. I can tell this silicone is already setting up on me. So this one will probably be ready to pull out of the mold in about half an hour or so. Oh, currently I am making, this is a, how do we put this? What are we saying today? Silicone sculptures for adults. And this is the dough in hematite with an 825 firmness. And this is for custom order number 579. In hematite with an 825 firmness. And this is for custom order number 579. And check to see. Okay. Back and pull these aside. Yep. All right. All right. Questions? Anybody have any questions? While you're putting that together, I'm going to think about. All right. So we did the glacier. We did the cotton candy, hematite. I'm going to do one more. Actually, I'm going to take suggestions. I'm going to do a Parabolica, which is kind of the closest thing I do to a tentacle. It's kind of my take on what a tentacle could be. But if you have any suggestions about colors, what color combination would you want to see? if you have any suggestions about colors, what color combination? Yeah, Destiny, they are fun. We do enjoy our job. You know, I keep thinking of that line from Rap Superstar at the intro of that song. There's a line the guy says, you know, it's a job, it's a fun job, but it's still a job. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of fun doing this. It's a job, it's a fun job, but it's still a job. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of fun doing this. What's the biggest I've made? Actually, the Parabolica is my biggest mold. It's about 300 grams. What's the biggest I've made? Actually, the Parabolica is my biggest mold. It's about 300 grams. Oh, I do all my measurements in grams. Sorry. That's about 10 ounces. A little bit over a half pound. I do all my measurements in grams. Sorry. That's about... Getting close. It's between half a pound and 3/4 of a pound. It's between half a pound and 3/4 of a pound. All right, any more suggestions? I see pink and green, red and black. I think I saw purple and green earlier. So I think the pink and green would, I think that would clash too much. The purple and green could be interesting. I think if we did like a really desaturated green and a really desaturated purple, that could be interesting. Do kind of pastel. Red and black. Carolyn, I'm taking suggestions. I've asked people, what colors do they want to see? I'm taking suggestions. I've asked people, what colors do they want to see? International shipping. I think it's $20. So convert that to whatever currency you're in. I see another vote for red and black. Clear. Okay, that's an interesting one. I see another vote for red and black. Clear. Okay, that's an interesting one. All right, so we're going to do vote here. All right, so we're going to do red. Where's my black? Vote here. Red and black. There it is. All right, so we have red and black. That one's gotten a couple of votes. All right, so we have red and black. That one's gotten a couple of votes. And we have a purple. Let's find a green we can use. But those two. Black and yellow. I've tried black and yellow, but when they start to come together and mix a little bit, they turn brown. It really doesn't look good. When they start to come together and mix a little bit, they turn brown. It really doesn't look good. Any other suggestions? So we got red and black or purple and green. Any other suggestions? We got red and black or purple and green. Let me check on Twitch and YouTube. Let's see. I tell you what, I will do both of those. Oh, now there's some other options. Orange and blue, teal and white, black and green. Other options. Orange and blue, teal and white, black and green. Ah! That's why I always transfer them into cups. That's why I always transfer them into cups. All right. So let's do the black and red first. By the way, that green is just a new color. That's why it hasn't gotten transferred into one of the cups yet. So we're going to do black and red. To do that, we're going to use 2 cups, but we're going to need one big one. So we're going to do black and red. To do that, we're going to use 2 cups. There we go. There's my one. Okay. And what we'll do this in a little bit differently, because I think what I want is I want red at the tip, and then I want it to fade into black. Is that right? That might look a little bit. That might look a little aggressive. Hey, Blue Bear, we're getting ready too. We're making silicone sculptures for adults. Okay. Parabolica. We're making silicone sculptures for adults. Okay. Parabolica. Okay. All right, sorry I'm off camera. My scale is over here. All right. So we've got part A and part B. So I'll mix those up real quick. All right. So we've got part A and part B. I'll mix those up real quick. And again, I always mix my part A and part B together first, so I know that all of my silicone is going to cure at exactly the same time. And then I'll separate it out into what I need for each of my colors. Because otherwise, you know, if I mixed it up for one color and then I did a separate mix for another color, they would cure at different times. Otherwise, you know, if I mixed it up for one color and then I did a separate mix for another color, they would cure at different times. All right, so there's our silicone. Where are we at? Total weight? 350. There's our silicone. All right, so we got our silicone sectioned out for each of our colors. We're going to do black for the base. It's going to be our base color. We're going to do black for the base. It's going to be our base color. And this black has just a little bit of a shimmer to it, so you can actually get some nice marbling out of it. And this black has just a little bit of a shimmer to it, so you can actually get some nice marbling out of it. Now this red is a really deep red. Now this red is a really deep red. All right. So here's our red. And then we have our black, which I'm sure just looks black on the camera, but there is actually some marbling to it. And then we vacuum it. But there is actually some marbling to it. All right, so this is the red we're using, and then we're using black to go along with that. All right, so this is the red we're using, and we're using black to go along with that. The vacuum pulls all of the air out of it. When I'm mixing that silicone up, I'm mixing air into the silicone, so it actually ends up almost spongy if you don't vacuum it. But if you vacuum it, it comes out completely solid. It actually ends up almost spongy if you don't vacuum it. But if you vacuum it, it comes out completely solid. Actually, I've liked the questions today. Sometimes it's really quiet in the chat. People don't ask questions. I don't know why. It's almost like they're scared or something. Oops. I do need to get my mold release in here. It's almost like they're scared. All right. Now we need to go a little bit longer on the vacuum. Almost done. Almost done. Okay. Oh man. I made a mess of myself. All right, so move that out of the way so you guys can see. So now we've got the black here. That's going to be our base. And the tricky part is knowing how this is going to flow out of the cup, because there's fluid dynamics and stuff happening here that I don't entirely understand, that I can predict. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this slightly off center towards one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this slightly off center towards one side. Get all my good red out of there. Man, it's such a deep red. Okay. Now then, I am going to actually pour this from the opposite side. So if my red is back here, I'm going to pour from this edge, because what's going to happen is that red is going to flow over and into the mold first. I'm going to pour or fairly close to first. You know, see right there, there's the red, straight in. And now we've transitioned to almost completely black. And we'll see some just maybe a little bit of red in the base here. There we go. I don't know if you can see it, but there are little traces of red right here. So what we know is that we got most of our red down here at the base. I'm sorry, at the bottom of the mold, which is the tip. And then we've got most of our black up here at the top. So ended up getting almost exactly what I wanted there. All right, pouring off this black into the mold, the squishy molds. All right, and now for my signature. And I know you can't see it, but there's actually really subtle marbling that's happening on that black. You see it? But there's actually really subtle marbling that's happening on that black. I'm using platinum cured silicone. That was one of the questions. What kind of silicone am I using? It's platinum cured silicone, and that's the only kind of silicone that is body safe. As far as a brand goes, most of the makers who are doing things like this use smooth-on products. So it's usually either the Dragon Skin line or the EcoFlex line. Smooth-on products. So it's usually either the Dragon Skin line or the EcoFlex line. All right. Let's check here. This one's not quite ready to pull out of the mold yet. Let's check this one. Nope. I know that one's not ready. So now we need to do, the other suggestion was purple and green. So here's my green. Try not to knock it over again. And this is a purple. This is this one's going to be interesting to work with because it has a tendency to, if you oversaturate it, it goes almost black. But if you undersaturate it, it almost goes, I don't know. It's not the best purple. I wish I had a different one. But I think if I use a little bit of white, I can desaturate it a little bit so that we still get the purple, but we don't get the translucency of underpigmenting it. So that's what we're going to do. Again, we're going to do a two-color pour. Underpigmenting it. So that's what we're going to do. How long does it take to set up? That was a question from Amanda. It takes anywhere from 45 minutes to about 2 hours, depending on the mix of silicone that I'm using. It takes anywhere from 45 minutes. How many different kinds do I make? I think we have 7 models. And then within that, we do technically, we do 0030, 0050, 810, 825. But I can also do a 0020 and an 840. So I have 6 different furnaces that we can use as well. And then we have, I think it's about 35 or 40 colors. And so if you're, if you want to, you can go to the website and do a custom where you can actually order the specific model in a specific firmness with the specific colors that you want. Where you can actually order the specific model in a specific firmness with the specific colors that you want. All right, so I need one more big cup. And we're going to do this. This is going to be an 810. And we're going to do this in a giblets. Actually, do I want to do this? I'm going to see. When I see the colors, I'll decide. what pattern I want to pour this in. All right, so I need a mold stand. And mold release. And into the mold. Here. Flappy, flappy, flappy. Flappy, flappy, flappy. Ooh, we have some good questions now. I have no idea what that name is. J Noya something? I don't know. Asking about adding a slacker or a thinner to it. And for those of you who don't know, slacker is something that softens silicone. So you can take like a A10 and add slacker to it or a denser to it, and that will soften it. It does affect the. It makes it softer, but it also affects the tear strength slightly. And so I try not to. Actually, if I want to get to a specific firmness, I'll mix different firmnesses together in order to get where I want it to go. Interesting question. I'll mix different firmnesses together. Specific link to? No. We only do our specific models, and they are set in stone. But we do have all of those measurements on the website. So if you're looking for something, there's probably something there for you. And I will say that our designs tend to be more of, how do I put this, average nature. If you know anything about Bad Dragon is huge. And I mean, that's scary to me. The stuff that we make and my designs are more towards the average size. No, I don't have any problems with cure inhibition using different firmnesses. Okay. We have our mold. We have our first cup. We have our second cup. We're doing a gibbolus. We have our mold. We have our first cup. Okay, again, my scale is over there, so I'm going to step over for a second. Okay, again, my scale is over there, so I'm going to step over for a second. Almost done. All right. Oh, by the way, they were asking about Kind Silicone. Smooth On is the brand name, and EcoFlex is one of the product lines that they have. They also have a dragon skin. All right, so we got part A, part B mixed together here. And again, you can see I'm really whipping that air in there. All right, so we got part A, part B mixed together here. Again, you can see I'm really whipping that air in there. I just want to get that mixed as well as I can, as fast as I can, because I'm on the clock now, and I've got somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes to get this into the mold. And I know I'm going to need just a little bit extra time to play with my colors. And I know I'm going to need just a little bit extra time to play with my colors. So what are we at here? 260. 85 grams for one color. All right, and I don't actually, when I'm doing a two-color pour, I actually don't split it exactly in half. I will do 1/3 one color, and I'll do 2/3 the other color. And I know this purple looks brown on camera, but I think what I want to do is do the purple at the bottom. I know this purple looks brown on camera, but I think what I want to do is do the purple at the bottom. Now, hold this up to the camera, see how it looks. Almost, it's not bad. But if I go any heavier than that, it'll turn black. And if I go any lighter than that, it'll be almost translucent. But I want to lighten it up just a little bit. I'm going to go for almost a lavender color, I think. So let me add just a little bit of white here. I'll go for almost a lavender color, I think. Add just a little bit of white here. So now we're kind of at a pale purple. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, it's kind of a lavender. Periwinkle, maybe? I don't know. Let's try getting that purple or that green going. Periwinkle, maybe? I don't know. Let's try getting that purple or that green going. And this green has just a little bit of a gold undertone to it. I don't know if you can see that. So let's desaturate this a little bit. I don't know how I feel about this one. It's almost kind of almost a mint green. So, all right, well, let's get it vacuumed. We'll see what we think. Almost a mint green. So, all right, well, let's get it vacuumed. We'll see what we think. Destiny asks, what do I mean when I say I'm on the clock? When part A touches part B, Destiny asks, what do I mean the process starts? So I have a very limited amount of time to get that mixed up and get my pigments mixed in and get the vacuum done and get it poured into the mold before that silicone starts to set up. And generally speaking, depending on the silicone, it could be anywhere from 5 minutes. Like the A25 is about 5 minutes. The 0030 is more closer to 15 to 20 minutes. So when I'm doing my mixing, I'm getting maybe 10 to 15 minutes max on my mix time. I'm getting maybe 10 to 15 minutes max on my mix time. Hey, Scarnight, on YouTube and Twitch, there is an echo, and I can't figure out how to get rid of it. Scarnight, on YouTube and Twitch, I don't have my normal streaming setup here in the pouring room, so that means that I kind of have to work with what I've got. But yeah, on YouTube and Twitch, there's a little bit of an echo. That means that I kind of have to work with what I've got. But yeah, on YouTube and Twitch, there's a little bit of an echo. All right. So we're vacuuming that out. Almost done there. All right. I think this is going to be the last one I do for today. Almost done there. So if you have any questions, get them into the chat. I think that's going to be the last one I do for today. So if you have any questions, get them into the chat. All right. So there's our purple, and there is our green. Yeah, sorry about that echo. I've actually used external mics. I've used wireless mics. I've done all kinds of things to try to get rid of that echo, and I just cannot. So, all right. So again, on this one, I'm gonna take my purple as my base. I'm gonna pour my green to the back. Take my purple as my base. I'm gonna pour my green to the back. But I will say that when I do my regular streams on Sunday nights on Twitch and YouTube, I have my full setup, and so there's no echo. It's actually kind of nice. I'm rather proud of it. Okay, so we got our green in the back, our purple in the front, and then we're going to pour so that the green comes out first. So we've got green going down into the tip, and now our purple comes in. So we got green going down into the tip, and now our purple comes in. There we go. And then into the squishy molds. All right. So how does that look on camera? I'm curious. Kind of looks like a mess, does it? But I will say it's almost like a light lavender with some very slight hints of green. All right, so, by the way, I know I was off camera when I was pouring all my squishies, but you can see these are all the squishies that I poured today. So, if you placed a custom order, you would actually get a squishy matching your particular toy. So if you placed a custom order, and if we have any extras, they just go into our squishy bucket. This is my squishy bucket. So we have just tons and tons of squishies, all different firmnesses. We have paw prints, unicorns, dinosaurs, dog bones, gemstones. Actually, that's a prettier gemstone. We have robots. Let's see, we got poop. We've got poops. Robots. We've got smiley faces. Just all kinds of stuff, you know. We've got poops. Just random molds that I use to make, to use the excess. Like, here's a squishy poop. Squishy poop. To make Moai Easter Island heads. The squishy poop. Squishy poop. Oh, I will show you this. These are squishies from raw silicone with no pigment in them. And you can see they are not clear. I think these might, I don't know if I vacuumed these or not. I think I had some excess that I just kind of poured off. But this is the natural color of silicone. And if you find a toy that says that it is silicone, but you can see through it and it's crystal clear, it's not silicone. I say that. It is very, very unlikely that it is silicone. It's silver poop. Because silicone by its nature is not clear. So there's a blue gemstone. So yeah, this is what I do. We do sell squishies by themselves. So if you go to the website, there's what's called a squishy pack. And it'll be a selection of random silicone squishies. And you'll get at least 5, but I usually throw in anywhere from, depending on the size, I might throw in 7 or 8, depending. But yeah, you can order squishies by themselves. But yeah, you can order squishies by themselves. All right, well, any other questions? Actually, let me check and see if I can demold this one yet. Yeah, I think I can. Any other questions? All right. Let me check and see. Now then, we have a silicone sculpture that we poured earlier, and I'm just going to break it loose from the mold. And I take that, get a bubble, and I'll work it all the way around so I make sure that it's loose all the way down to the end. And you can see, work it all the way around. That is the hematite, all the way down to the end. And you can see, and I can't pull it all the way out because TikTok doesn't like it when I show the entire piece. But I will show you as much as I can. Because TikTok doesn't like it when I show the entire piece. But I will show you as much as I can. All right, and that goes into the hot pot. And it'll finish curing in there. All right, that goes into the hot pot. And it'll finish curing in there. Hey, Cody, I'm talking to you. I asked you earlier, do you want to join me on the live stream tonight? You can talk about what it's like to be a newbie silicone slinger. You can talk about what it's like to be a newbie silicone slinger. Oh, somebody asked about the hot pot. It is actually a crock pot or a slow cooker, whatever you want to call it. And what I do is I crank that up to high, and it'll run about 180 to 200 degrees. And there are very few things that will affect the curing process of silicone. in terms of humidity doesn't affect it. Temperature does. And so if we pull something out of the mold and it's still a little bit not fully cured, then we'll throw it in the hot pot at 180 degrees. It's going to cook off that last bit of curing that has to happen. But it'll also, it's going to rinse off, it's going to melt off any of the mold release that might still be on there. Or, at 180, 200 degrees, it's going to kill any bacteria or anything that might be on there. So it's kind of just a last step to go through to make sure it's all sanitized and as clean as we can possibly make it. Let me check on I have not pulled the glacier. It's not ready yet. And the cotton candy is not ready yet. I can show you in here. See, I can't actually scrape and when I try to pull it out, it tears. That tells me that the silicone's not fully cured yet. And that's one of the other reasons why I have these cups off to the side. I keep it with the mold so that I can do my tests on this and see, is that ready to pull? No, it's not. And that way I don't have to actually disturb the mold if I don't need to. The pink, yellow, and green or pink, yellow, and blue was the cotton candy, and it's not ready to pull yet. The pink, yellow, and green or pink, yellow, and blue was the cotton candy, and it's not ready to pull yet. All right, Cody, I'm going to hold you to that. You're going to have to join me sometime. So, with that, I am done. I'm going to go clean myself up. I've got pigment all over me. I've got silicone all over the place. So I'm going to spend the next hour cleaning up. And I will wish you well. All over the place. Bye. Cleaning up. And I will wish you well. All right, Cody. Glad to see you're making a mold. So, did you guys have any other questions for me? TikTok is gone now. Oh, good question, Cody. It depends on the silicone that you're using. If you're using a very fast curing silicone, you don't have time because the time that it takes you to brush it onto the mold is going to be longer than you would think. And that means that you have less time to vacuum it. Now, I will suggest that you do very thin coats on your first layer. Maybe your first couple layers, do very thin coats. And the reason is that because you can't vacuum it, you're still going to have air bubbles in there. And if you do it really, really thin coats, then you don't have as much material for the bubbles to stay in. And so you'll tend to actually get rid of the bubbles just by doing very thin coats. Once you get your first couple of coats on, then you can go a lot heavier because now you've established a good surface for your final product, and you can just really go a lot heavier on your later coats. Yeah, I mean, if you got a 20-minute pot life, my concern there would be that if it's a 20-minute pot life, then that's a lot of time for gravity to work, and gravity will pull that silicone down the surface. That'll help get rid of bubbles, but what you'll end up with is a very thin area at the tip, and then at the bottom it'll be a lot thicker. So you kind of have to work with your pot life, and as you can start to feel it get a little bit thicker and the viscosity start to change, that's when you'll want to start brushing it on. Otherwise, you can end up with silicone that is run all the way down to the base, and you have nothing left on the top. And then you end up with a really thick base that's just a pain in the butt to work with. Like this particular mold here has this ring here is completely annoying. It's really thick. Now it's stable. It gives me a lot of stability. But the problem is that when I try to roll it back to get the piece out, it's so thick that it resists it. And it's very difficult to deal with. Yeah, man, get your hands dirty. Get some silicone in those hands. All right. I am out of here. You guys have a good day. I will catch you. Actually, I'll be back online. I'll be back on the live stream at 7 o'clock tonight, and I'll be streaming from my usual setup instead of here in the pouring room. And I'll have much better sound at home. There is not a local supplier for smooth-on products. All your smooth-on products is going to come out of Dallas from Reynolds. Shaky the mold. Yes. Doesn't sound as good, I'm sure, on YouTube. Here. All right, I'm out. Have a good day.